And we are live tonight from the Outer Rim in what is another gorgeous night. And guys, I've got the man himself, the DMT, the DM, Darth Micro.
It's him. It's entirely possible.
Things just got really red in here, man. I should have done my lights so they could have been red, you know, to be on theme.
That's why I had to have a black background. I had an orange-black background before, but the hair gets lost in.
Brother, we are here tonight. Thank you for joining me on my channel. You've been on live streams with me and stuff.
Yeah, we're not new to this.
We're not new to this. So today, guys, we're talking about what would we want to see if SWGOH 2, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes 2, was a reality. And yeah, this is just totally just us freestyling, just kind of going back to our long history of combined gaming love.
Off the top of the dome here.
Off the top of the dome, we are freestyling,
Wicca freestyling.
All right, man. So SWGOH 2, if it were to happen, graphics, right? I mean, this is the first thing. This is...
Well, yeah.
I mean... Go ahead.
Here's my problem. Okay, I'm going to go right into the meat of it. Here's the problem with graphics with Star Wars is the characters are so iconic looking. The only style of graphics you can do in almost any video game is pure realism, because if you do any cartoonish anything, any animation styling, you're going to piss off people. Well, you know what I mean? So it has to be 100% real. And so I think the problem for them is they got to get a good engine. I mean, what engine would you want to see Star Wars in, right? Unreal's kind of like, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of mobile games use Unreal Engine, right? That's yeah. I don't know, man. I look at how amazing Battlefront looks, and I'm like, why? Even not but no, Battlefront's a console game and a high-end PC game. Let's talk about Force Arena. That game looked incredible for mobile. The character models, absolutely incredible. I mean, you know, they did a horrible job supporting the game. It went away, but I thought that game looked amazing for a mobile device.
Yeah, it did look pretty good. I think the gameplay was a little questionable, but if we're talking about the graphics, I think, the graphics were pretty solid in that one for sure.
Yeah, you know, I get what you're saying about the point that you have to be very careful with like stylized art graphics, because I felt like SWTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, the MMO, felt that looked horrible. Like it just looked bad.
I agree.
It looked like it was wanted to be WoW, and all the armor was just way too big, and it just looked weird, goofy. So I get.
I agree. I played Star Wars Galaxies, however.
Yes,
the other that one had it going on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Can we get a comment in here somewhere of Star Wars Galaxies was the jam, because that game
was the jam. Pre-combat upgrade was the shit. Anyways. And I just remember those pristine sunsets on Tatooine. It was just the best. Yes. All right, so that is graphics. I mean, that seems like a layup. I mean, the game is almost what, four years old now, so obviously graphics are going to come a little bit.
It would be better. I'm guaranteed they would make the graphics better.
Now let's move on to the next point here, Micro. Let's talk gameplay here, and I'm going to bitch a little bit because I just don't think there's enough to do out of the gate that feels any different than. Okay, so you're basically picking 5 characters. You're going into a battle. It's the same sort of mechanics over and over. There's no real wrinkles there, other than raids, which are just, you know, instead of attacking 5 other characters, you're attacking like 1 character or, you know, a few others. Yep. There's nothing to do. I mean, they got to have more stuff out of the gate to do, right?
Well, and here, the other problem is when they do, because I like to balance it. There is nothing to do. Yeah, I don't disagree at all. But they are coming out with new content, right, all the time. But the problem is they have the impossible job of once new content comes out, once you've done it once, then you just repeat it for the rest of your life. It's over. You know what I mean? And you only get to do things like COS events and stuff like that once. So there's only really a lot of content that is new and exciting one time. And then after that, you're kind of grinding it for rewards.
I mean, these guys putting out hot videos in 2019. I'm like, bro, like that's the last thing I want to do is go fight the tank right now.
No kidding. No kidding. Yeah, a little boring. I'm guilty of putting out a couple tank videos, maybe, but yes, you're not wrong.
Okay. So yeah, repetitive gameplay, it's fine. I think the point here, Micro, is it's fine as long as it's done right and there's new wrinkles every once in a while. I mean, what do we?
Repetitive nature has to be fun. Like you can't have. You know, a lot of other games have repetitive grinding. That's okay. That's a core mechanic in gameplay. I'm fine with that. But the repetitive nature of it has to be somewhat of an enjoyable process during that grinding time. And I think that's kind of where, a lot of people interest falls short.
I don't know, man. Let's keep moving here. Okay, we're going to talk about
Okay.
what sort of mechanics would we want to see built into the game that maybe are maybe they're not right for the genre. I don't know. So we talked a little bit before we got on together, and it was I made the point about Elder Scrolls Online, about EVE Online, where you have these long skill levelings. Where in EVE Online, where you would train like a pilot skill or whatever, and it would be like over months, and you wouldn't have to do anything. You would just kind of like allocate a resource to it, and it would just slowly level up over months. And what if they did something like that, where if you were playing like a Jedi character, you could level up a couple of different like lightsaber styles or lightsaber stances or whatever,
Forms or
whatever, right? And maybe it takes a little bit of that MMO element and it puts it in there. So your character is just a little bit different. And you can't make these hard shifts in another direction because it takes months. I always thought that was fun and exciting. And it was just like, you didn't have to do anything, but you logged in every day and you saw that bar going up just a little bit more.
I like that because it brings unique character progression to you. Like a lot of people, when they play MMOs, they do it because they feel like the character they build is their character. The problem is my commander Luke Skywalker is the exact same as everybody else's. It's just how fast you get them. And what I thought when they announced the Gear 13 is, and they said there was going to be different pieces, is I thought it was going to be there's 3 different pieces and you get to choose which one you want to go in there. And that way you can kind of have your own theory crafting or, I mean, there's still obviously the ones that are going to be the best in there or something. And they did a good job of uniquely putting stats to each ones, but it's not different in between each player. I guess they try to do that with like profile icons and stuff, but that's like cosmetics and not really.
I can't even get a damn Lobot or Tusken one, so that doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm on board, is what I'm saying. I'm on board with your hype train here.
Okay,
I'll take a ticket.
So let's talk about PvE content and maybe like story. I mean, I know some people just cringe when I start talking about this. They're like, why do you care about the story? And what I always kind of go back to is the lore building, and with a game this wide, with like having expanded universe characters in HK and like lesser known guys like Lobot and the Tuskens, wouldn't it be great if they could just go into the lore and maybe you're leveling shards or whatever, and the first time you do a node, you see like you do like an 8 battle, and maybe you at the end, kind of like at the end of a Tekken game, where you see like a little cutscene, a little just like lore nugget. It adds so. I mean, I use this a lot in my channel, right? Because I love lore. It would just add so much flavor to the game, and that seems like an easy lift.
Well, you must have loved the Darth Revan event, then, right?
It was great. It was great because it told the story of the Starforge and KOTOR and the whole 9 yards. So when they do stuff like that, it's just great.
I'm a pretty big fan of that too. I love the Darth Revan event. I read all of the lore. I clicked on every character and read it because I thought it was cool. I played like the Knights of the Old Republic games as well, and I loved going through all the lore stuff there. So if they're going to add lore or more details, I'm okay with it. Honestly, just more stuff in the game. I don't care. It can be lore. It can be more gameplay, better graphics, anything. Just give me more. That is what I'm asking for right now.
Yeah, I mean,
any reason.
Yeah, I mean, I look at like games like, so I follow a couple. I don't even play WoW, but I follow WoW streamers, and there's just so much damn lore in WoW that I'm like, I would have a field day with this stuff if I covered this game. Like, it just, I don't know.
Even the raids have like an in-depth lore. Like I played through the last expansion, with the whole virulent strain detective and everything, where you got to wipe out the virus. And yeah, there's some pretty cool, unique lore mechanics in it. As opposed to, I will say, in the heroic Sith raid, there was some interesting kind of lore I guess you could call them lore mechanics with like Traya and Isolate, because that's kind of how they kind of fit her character, but it's not like you're saying where they have this really deep lore about why the Sith raid's going on or anything like that. So
yeah, well, I mean, these are some great just starting points, Micro. Anything else we missed here? We've talked graphics, we talked gameplay. What is the one thing you don't want to see? If I want to put you on the spot right here, what is one thing?
Put me on the spot, yeah, because we didn't rehearse this.
We didn't talk about this.
You're hitting Darth Micro live, uncut, unfiltered. Oh, my persona, it's all crashing down. The sharding system. I know that's like completely detrimental to the way they monetize the game, but I'm over collecting shards for characters.
Right.
I just am. I would rather pay to unlock a character or buy chromium packs or something where then you get a full character. Like I'm okay opening RNG packs to try to get characters. I know some people hate that. I'm okay with it. I would rather that than spend 6 months to collect a character who by the time I get him is useless. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I'm just over that style.
Yeah. I will say one thing that I did enjoy about this kind of gameplay style is, okay, so a little bit of history of your boy Urs here. I was very much the guy in my group of friends that first got married, that first had kids. So all of a sudden my time got shrank down, significantly for gaming. And then all of a sudden, Star Wars comes out and all my friends are playing it. Yeah.
Hey, we thought it was going to be you popping up.
I actually got one. I got one that popped up. You didn't hear it.
Right, well, we're 1 for 1 there.
There we go. So basically, I was able to keep pace with all my friends because everybody's cheap and everybody's free to play. So I love Star Wars because they couldn't go ham and just go off and just leave me in the dust. So that is one thing I kind of like. I liked how it gated everybody's pace.
To pay to play.
Yes.
They couldn't afford it. Yeah. I'm okay with that too. I should be careful here. I'm not okay with it being too pay to play, but I do like the fact that there's a shard system. I'll put that. I would like to encapsulate that sharding type of system, so you're not competing with like everyone else, like it is with Grand Range Championships now or whatever.
Gotcha.
I did like that. I would like to keep that at least, because then, as you're saying, you can kind of more keep pace with your fellow
friends or gamers or whoever.
Referees.
All right, guys. It has been a pleasure having my man Micro in the hall here. Brother, thank you for bringing the pod over to the hall.
Yeah, of course, man. All right, pod, sub to this boy. If you're watching this and you haven't yet, we got to hit that 10K.
We're getting there.
Dab on him.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Micro. Appreciate it, buddy. And with that being said, good night from the Outer Rim, everybody. We're on camera right here.
Good night.